Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next vlog. Honestly, I've lost count of how many vlogs we are because it's confusing. Because the way I'm editing this, the sessions are recorded in out of order of when they're actually being put onto the episode. So, this is a vlog of the downtime session that we just had, and just to give people a frame of reference, I just finished recording the session 6 with the main cast, session 6, and we've only premiered session 4 recently.
Yeah.
So there actually were a bunch of things that got dropped onto the spin-off cast just now. So it was really I forgot that when I said certain things, I forgot, oh, they don't know that yet. I forgot that they didn't know that. Oh, right.
Probably realized that
okay.
when you saw our reaction.
That was great.
So, thoughts on today's session?
Okay, can I just say, I really, really enjoyed that encounter between Tritessa and Felix. It was interesting and adorable in a lot of ways. And it was so cool to play Felix as this acting so confident and mysterious and a bit assured of himself and playing along. It kind of brought out a new side of Felix, just dealing with someone younger and who was also pretty intelligent as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I loved that back and forth. It was so good.
Yeah. I was debating on either putting Tritessa there. Aika also made a lot of sense because Aika is big on secrets.
Yeah.
And that's clearly a big, giant, juicy secret. However, not to give too much away, but Aika's been getting a lot of screen time lately. So because Aika's been getting a lot of screen time lately, I decided to throw Tritessa in there. So that was why. I was thinking of other characters, but really the two that made the most sense that would be interesting would be Aika or Tritessa.
I'm curious as to if Tritessa is ever going to mention Felix to the other cast members.
She might.
Because she might. That was really fun and interesting.
I mean, right now you guys have interacted with Chance, Chogan, Tritessa, and the Della de Rivera brothers, Carlos and Skylar. So I don't know if something happens where it would naturally come up. They'll probably mention something. So it all depends. It all depends on what happens during conversation.
Particularly if the main cast show anything on that message he left.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. So if they find that message, and if somehow Tritessa's in the room when they talk about the message, she might say something. But that's a big if. Because right now, at least as of session 4 that you guys see, and right now the Wampus team seems to be very secretive about a lot of things. So who knows what they'll do?
So with those connections, I'm really excited for that Juan early session. I cannot wait for that to come to fruition. Because I believe it was with Juan that Scythe showed up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was with Juan. So it's like, oh gosh, I hope that she's a good guy.
Yeah,
because I like Scythe.
I like Scythe too.
I know.
Also, Felix kind of likes Scythe as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh.
That's the thing. I actually wanted to have a girl time with Scythe today, but we didn't have time. And I was like, oh, after this, she's totally going to ask her and start pushing her towards Felix.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I was happy that Rodney got to have a scene
Rodney.
today.
I love that talk with Rodney.
Oh, yeah. Rodney, as I said, Rodney is meant to have a bigger role, but probably not until Act 2.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Oh, Rodney.
We'll see.
Rodney.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about Michael's romantic story.
Yes.
I was not ready for that at all.
Yeah, it was in character. Good. It was easier to roleplay. It was like, oh, yeah, my proposal.
Let me just come up with something really quick. Okay, workplace.
That was very good.
You got to weave in a little bit of truth to the lie to make it seem more believable. We do work together. He does have reservations. Like, it's like, okay, workplace relationships and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I was
I'm
BSing
kind of
about it.
shipping it now.
Oh,
Oh.
I mean, Celeste is actively trying. She's trying. It's kind of obvious.
Hashtag. What did you call it?
Divine
Hashtag
wood.
what?
Divine wood.
Divine wood. Hashtag divine wood. Which I said sounded way better than hashtag mincest. Mincest.
What was it going to be? Incest or
Mincest.
Cecil or something like that?
Cecil? Cecil.
Cecil? I don't know. It all sounds really weird. No, it was actually funny. One of my friends pointed this out to me, but Celeste means divinity or celestial, like angels. Her first romantic interest was named as Gabriel, and now she's going after Michael, so she's going after archangels.
There we go. Gabriel and Michael. You need a David next.
And she's oh, I flirt with David enough as it is. No, but and the odd thing is that she's a vampire, which is usually considered a creature of the devil. It's so funny. I love it. Not on purpose, I swear.
I wasn't sure what to expect when Michael started, like, exploring the school, like, his reactions, like, I don't know, like, what did you think, Kevin, of how Michael was taking in everything at the school?
First off, Michael was putting on a facade. Like, he was like,
Right.
oh, wow, ooh, wow, like, as he's, like, kind of walking through the halls. And, I mean, you know, the thing with the picture and how he's kind of like, oh, hey, like, can it see me? Like, there's some genuine curiosity there, but it was also like him trying to observe and take in everything at the same time. Like, so he's putting on like a, ooh, wow, look at that picture, it moves. Memory bank pictures move in this world. It's crazy. And it's like, you know, he's just, it's nighttime here, and you know,
Yeah.
Considering Michael's, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, like, he was trying to act like, play up his like, wow, this is bewildering, but at the same time he's just trying to take in everything so he could report it back.
Yeah, I was gonna say, considering Michael still had his reservations about whether or not it was real or not, and then to see this, to meet a leprechaun, to see the moving pictures, to be given a fertility potion.
That was great.
Yeah, a fertility potion. Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm wondering if this is going to affect the way he looks at magic now, because like this was pretty big proof. He went through a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any doubts in Michael's mind now that magic exists?
I have a question.
No doubts. Ah, okay.
I have a question for Kevin. So during Michael's conversation with Agent Rigel, he was talking about how the magic world seems like kind of a threat to him. Now that he's gotten to know some people, like people at the school who seem like normal people, and even Chance, what does he think now?
That's a good question.
Honestly, he still sees it as a threat. To a lesser degree. Because before he was only really exposed, well, besides the main, or this cast, he was exposed to a lot of like death and cannibalism, well, you know, baby eating and stuff. So he kind of had like this view of like, oh, this is the bad side. It's kind of like when you land into a brand new city, and as you're driving out of the airport, you're just like immediately in slums, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to live in this city. But then you kind of get to like, you know, a somewhat nicer place, and you're just like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. So I think him going to Ilvermorny, he definitely sees that, okay, there are normal people in this world, and the scope is huge. because they were talking about like, well, let's go to this school or let's go to this school, and he's like, oh shit, there's more schools. Okay, there's more than 2 schools. I believe told him about the one in France. Oh, I'm sorry, did I break up?
A little bit.
A little bit, but go ahead.
But yeah, so I think it's just, he still sees it as a threat, but I mean, maybe to a lesser degree now.
Okay.
All right.
I loved the talk Michael had with Rigel.
Mm-hmm.
It was driving me insane the entire time. But it was
like what part specifically?
Yeah.
I love the fact that like Michael very easily could have said, well, I have some proof that this is real. I have 3 wizards in my company. He could have easily told her that, even with the whole vampire thing. Celeste even said, hey, if you think it's okay, you can out me to her, but only her. And he didn't.
Interesting.
So I was very curious, what's his reasoning with that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, that entire conversation had me on nerves because I was wondering what they were going to say and how Rigel was reacting and how Michael was reacting, and it had me concerned about how this was going to end up going down. And now I'm of the mind, I'm wondering when we're going to actually have to tell Rigel the truth, because that's going to have to be sometime soon.
I mean, you're expecting how long of a time jump arc? Like 20 years? Like it was going to be
between Act 1 and Act 2.
Yeah, like how big of a time? Like by that point, Celeste can't hide she's a vampire. She doesn't age, so it needs to be brought out either during the session or during the break, or she's going to have to leave Orion.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big.
Well,
thing.
that's assuming Orion is still a thing.
Yeah.
In 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what is going to happen on the last session of this act, because that's going to determine a lot about how things are going to go in the second act, including whether or not Orion is even going to be a thing.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I remember that little tease we got about a crossover.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting me really excited. You're teasing me here.
Yeah, so I can tell you this now in this vlog, because by this point, the final session of Act 1 would have been released. So there is a plan for you guys to join the main cast in the final session of Act 1.
Oh, wow.
And I would like for you guys... I am specifically going to give them as little information as possible. I'm just going to tell them that we're going to have some guest players and they're going to be portraying some characters, and I'm not going to tell them anything really beyond that. So I'm not necessarily going to tell them that we've been having several other sessions in parallel.
Yeah.
And if they ask, I will just be like, spoilers. Like, I'll just be
no
like,
spoilers.
I'll be like, no spoilers.
I'm so excited.
So I'm not going to answer that question if they ask me directly, like, oh, is this a spin-off cast? I'll be like, no spoilers. They can probably deduce what that means.
Yeah.
But my plan is, and I don't know if I'm necessarily going to include this in the vlog, but at least we'll tell you this now, is I want to at least get to a point where the war is going to start, if it's going to start. And you guys will have to decide whose side you're going to be on, if you're going to choose any sides. Because I think one side is clearly trying to oust magic onto the Muggle world, and another side is going to try really hard to maintain the statute of secrecy and keep magic a secret from the rest of the Muggles or no badges.
Yeah.
And really that is going to be a huge part of how this final session of this act is going to be, is the 8 of you are going to determine how that's going to go, because that'll determine what it's going to be like in Act 2.
All right.
That's
I'm really excited.
Kevin, you never asked me you never answered. What was Michael's reasoning for not telling Rigel?
Yeah, what was the reason?
Honestly, my plan going into that, talking to her, like, from like us starting this session was to tell Rigel more, but during the conversations he had in the previous dialogue, they asked, "Do you trust her?" And Michael's not really sure if he trusts her or not.
Mm-hmm.
So this was kind of like a test. He started dropping. He obviously reported, but he's not entirely sure what side she's on.
Did anything that Rigel said resonate with Michael or you at all? In character or out of character? Did anything she say resonate in some way, whether it's positive or negative?
It definitely piqued Michael's curiosity at her experiment talk.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that had never even really crossed Michael's mind. Whether or not, you can take from that what you will. But I don't know, he was kind of put off a little bit by that, even if she was just merely suggesting it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like the mention of that kind of was like, okay, maybe I need to slow down. And it was from that point where he started to circle, and he's just like, oh, well, we just need to do this and this.
I mean, in real life, if we discover that monsters exist in the world, would we not want to find out more about them?
Oh, yes. It's definitely realistic.
So, I mean, again, if we were going with X-Files, if we actually found, an alien life, and especially if the alien life were violent, if aliens did end up invading and were like killing off humans, would people necessarily like have much of an issue experimenting on them to find weaknesses or finding out, stuff like that? So I think that is, when I was role-playing Rigel, that was the mindset I was in, is just saying, okay, you've got these beings that are supposedly not human, hags and vampires. I'm seeing them as like similar to if a violent alien species invaded Earth, like. So that's how I was seeing it with experimentation.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a valid opinion, and I mean, you can't really fault anyone for having those thoughts,
right? Which is why I think she said that she's not there.
Yeah.
And I think the difference is she hasn't been going to these missions, so these people, at least at first, presumably are human or people to you. Even the hag, even though the hag looks very, very like different from the typical human being,
right? Yeah, that's definitely fair points all around for that. But I don't know. I think Rigel's kind of got the same case that Michael had, in that we're bringing these people back. She's not we haven't really we've let some people go, but she's not seeing the ones that we're letting go, like the other vampires,
like Norio.
She's just seeing the ones that we're bringing in and locking up. So
true.
It's more or less like Michael firmly believes that vampires are real, and I don't know about the hags, but especially after this whole trip, and Chance was saying, "Oh, like the goblins just got let in, the house elves," and he's just like, "What? How many are there?" Like he's been talking for the last 5 minutes, just listing off races.
Right.
But yeah, he's very much taking a cautious step with Rigel, because she is in a position of power over him to where if he just like, we've got to do something, like they're everywhere, like they've got a whole government set up and everything, like that could trigger some alarms, like, oh god, we need to start nuking our,
Yeah, and they're making everyone forget when they see something.
Yeah, and there's a killing curse and like.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. There's a killing curse. Yeah.
Like if he just ran and started spewing all these things to someone who wasn't like eased into it, kind of like how Michael is, even though he kind of got thrown into it, but he was just being very cautious.
Mm-hmm. Does he feel that it's in his best interest to... I guess my question is, you're learning all these things and, killing curses and goblins and all that stuff, and at what point does he feel like this is a ticking time bomb, and if he doesn't, like, if he waits too long, that time bomb is going to go off?
Honestly, right now, if he could go back, like after this mission or whatever, if he could go back and report to Rigel, he would say, we need to start making preparations.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I don't think Michael fully understood the scope. He was like, oh, there's a government. And it's like, he thought it was kind of like the Vampire Council moot thing, where it's like, oh, there's just like 100 of us. And we're like, saying, hey, I haven't seen you in a month. But no, now it's like, oh, shit, there's a big thing going on here. And we can get caught with our pants down or whatever.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the scene with Vienno and the experimentation with the hoops?
That was fun, and it was very informative. And it would be, and I'm sure it will be helpful in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sold on the hoops.
Yeah.
I bought them a little bit more time with Rigel, but I'm not sold on we should keep these.
You think you should destroy them?
Felix is really pro rings and hoops right now. He really enjoys having them, and because he didn't have a lot of access to magic at all, and now he feel like using magic items. He didn't really feel magical, but with these rings, he does feel magical.
Yeah.
I think Felix would be really, really reluctant to give it this ring up.
You can see the future.
Yeah. But he grew up in a world with people casting spells and where seeing the future was a very, very uncommon thing.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you can see the future.
It's not always that clear.
That's true, but I mean,
thoughts on?
Sorry, go ahead.
Thoughts on the potential of these hoops when it comes into the hands of a Muggle?
Terrifying.
That was pretty powerful.
The interesting thing is, it seems like if the hoop is not attuned to your zodiac symbol, it doesn't work. But if it is, then it works even better than if a mage, a wizard, or witch was using it. So
I get the feeling that these hoops were actually made for Muggles.
Yeah, that's my feeling. No, I have some very interesting, Celeste's thoughts on their hoops in general is very mixed, because she gets that they're dangerous, but at the same time, her mindset is those would be very useful in taking out the Ministry.
One thing I found very interesting was basically when was just the Virgo, what we know about the Virgo ring and precognition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed that and that's kind of similar to what Felix does, and that's his sign. So I wonder if there's a connection or something.
I think.
I mean, I know. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, if we were going to destroy the rings, if we were going to destroy anything,
Cast
think
them
we
down
should-
Mount Doom.
we should all destroy the one that mind controls people. That imagine like Hark just said, it amplifies for muggles. Imagine if a muggle got his hands on a mind control ring.
Yeah, that's a dangerous one, and that needs to be
Imagine if
locked away or
anyone
destroyed.
got their hands on that. We don't need that.
I think that one in particular is bad.
And in general, like the idea of like, what if they are all used together? We know we can use multiple at the same time. If you can do like, there's one that allows for telekinesis and one for mind control.
Yeah.
You could give somebody silent orders, essentially like it's insane.
Well, that's telepathy, bud.
Telepathy. Sorry, wrong term.
Well, we knew what you were talking about.
We know what you're talking about.
We have one
know
that
what
does
you're talking
that.
about. We have one that does that. Yeah, having all 12 would be very interesting.
Yeah. I'll have them all.
No, like the thing
And
is,
that's why we need to destroy them.
Celeste.
Face.
The way Celeste looks at it is we can't let these just get into the hands of everybody, but we shouldn't destroy them because, I mean, even Muggles create horrifying weapons that should, by all rights, get destroyed, but they don't. We know other countries have stockpiles of nuclear weapons. We know about things like mustard gas and various other horrible weapons that are just kept on standby just in case. We still have them, even though they're super dangerous. And her idea is, I don't think they should be used by everybody, but the right people can use them, and I want to use them for my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
She's very much like, I don't care if the Muggles get it. I think they have a right to know. But if this can help us take down the Ministry, we should get them, learn about them, and use them. And then we can lock them away.
That's a valid opinion. It's not one that I share.